Toastmasters, pace setters, and our welcome guests. Are you in control of your emotions? Show me thumbs up, yes, no, sometimes. Sometimes. I see most of you are sometimes. I am Homo Emotionalis, and tonight I'm here to talk to you about how I mitigate my emotions. When I say Homo Emotionalis, I refer to my better half, the side that is full of feelings, that drives my interactions with the people around me. For this project that I'm working on my pathway, I had to keep a journal. Here you go. Writing the feelings and how my feelings impacted my interactions with the people around me. Tonight I'm here to share with you some aspects of emotional intelligence I've come to understand. I would like to give you a couple of examples on how I manage my emotions, and I'll summarize the lessons I've learned throughout this project. Let's dig in. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is about being able to manage your emotions in a way that prevents you from escalating situations, prevents confrontations. And for that, you need to have self-awareness and self-regulation. Self-awareness is being able to name the feeling and pinpoint the cause of that feeling. Easier said than done. Let me give you an example. One day, I asked my son about the status of his homework. Of course, the teenager that he is, he started giving me one after another, just excuse after excuse. And that made my blood rise and my anger go higher and higher and higher until, of course, we came to a point of clashing. You can imagine what the end of that story is. Go to your room, your mobile stays with me until you've done your homework. Was that an appealing way to solve that situation? Don't think so. I realized once I got the chance to go sit down and reflect, fill in my journal, I realized that anger was not the only feeling I was feeling. There was a lot of frustrations. And I figured out that frustrations had nothing to do with my son nor his homework. An aha moment when I realized that actually that frustration was caused by another personal situation I found myself in, a situation that affected me so deeply, loaded me with a lot of frustration and resentment towards some other things that I cannot control. I didn't have a say in it. Only that, I transferred that into my conversation with my son, and as a result, my son was feeling frustrated and resentful. And he was right. He was fairly, unfairly judged, right, for his misdemeanor. Self-regulation was my aha moment. So the thing that I've learned that I need to work on to be able to prevent this kind of confrontations in the future. And if you have teenagers, you know that those discussions are on the way, multiplying. Moving on, let me give you some other example of emotional intelligence at play within a professional environment. When I chose to be VPPR for our club, I invited some of our members to join my team to help me perform this role. And of course, one day, because I needed help, I asked one of my team members to take care of one of our social platforms. Their personal goal was to learn about that platform, so that was perfect. They were learning something and they were helping our team, to meet our goals and promote our club. Win-win, all roses, no thorns? Well, after some time, I start feeling disappointed. Why? Because there have been promises, but nothing has been delivered. What to do? I reached out and I tried to figure out what's going on. What I learned was that my colleague was feeling overwhelmed to the point that was afraid to touch that social platform or to work on that social platform, feeling scared that they might damage something. As a team leader, I realized that I need to offer more support. This is the side of emotional intelligence that we define as empathy, trying to get in their shoes, be in someone else's skin, try to feel how they are feeling, to be able to anticipate those needs for our colleagues, for our team members, and build that strong team that we all want as leaders. Oh, okay, sorry. Little before. Both examples, I think, exemplify how my emotions and emotions, generally speaking, influence our interactions and are driving the group dynamics. There's something to keep in mind. You know, with my son, I was so angry and frustrated, I couldn't even hear him. Forget about communication, more less effective communication. None of that was there. When I had to deal with my colleague that was feeling overwhelmed, when tapping into empathy and try to understand their side of story, feel what they're feeling, that helped me to promote collaboration. Last but not least, throughout this project, I learned that I consider that one of the most important aspects of emotional intelligence are the emotional triggers. Sometimes they can be positive and help us grow and bloom. Sometimes they are our demons, they are negative. It's like pushing our buttons and we explode or we react in a way that we ourselves do not recognize ourselves or we are not happy. In those situations, it will be better just to remove ourselves from that environment to try to recenter and focus to getting a positive outcome. To summarize, the lessons I've learned while working on this project or to evaluate and analyze my emotions and try to channel them in a productive way, to be a better active listener and validate others' perspectives. Like in the example of my son, my negative trigger was not being able to control an external situation. And then I didn't even hear his side of the story. He was right. The day was young, he had plenty of time to play and finish his homework. And most importantly, I learned how to recognize those negative triggers and have a plan to deal with them when they occur. If we go back to my initial question, are you in control of your emotions? I say for myself, sometimes. And sometimes when I cannot be in control, I feel scared. And if you are like me, let's remember, emotional intelligence is learned. Self-awareness and self-regulation are things we can learn and get better at over time. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow pace setters and our most welcome guests, my question for you is, do you know your emotional triggers and can you deal with them? Thank you. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.